Welcome to the shop. Hope you guys are having a great day. In the last Kydex video, I asked you if you wanted to know how I do my whole process. So here's that video. We got to put Kydex on both these knives. Are you ready? Here we go. Alright, welcome back. So I'm trying to get all these knives finished up and on the website to sell so I can move on to a new project. I got a few ideas for like a convex grind, a tanto grind, and a few other knives like that. But I got to finish these knives first. So let's get on to it. To the bench. So let's go over some stuff we're going to need. I would say a heat gun to shoot, to get your temps right. And I know a lot of people use little toaster ovens. And, I used to use one too. The problem with the toaster oven is getting that heat. You can run a thermocouple in there, kind of get it pretty good. But another thing that's a problem with ovens is you're putting it in, you're watching it. You gotta have to see where the plastic, the thing is with Kydex, you have to see how it forms. Now when it's flat and it's good, you're okay. But then you'll see the edges start curving up and it's getting a little too hot. I use an iron skillet, an electric iron skillet. You plug it in, you set it on, you grab your heat gun, and then you watch your temperatures as it goes. And I usually take mine to about 375. Pushing a little bit higher than 375, you start melting it and it gets gooey and a problem, but 375 seems to be about good for me. Now this right here I built. 2 pieces of wood, it's like trim, you can buy at Home Depot. And then a piece of plywood, you buy like a 2x2 piece, or buy a piece of plywood and then whatever scraps you have left over, you can use for everything. So, you cut it 1 by 1. Put a piece of trim with a little overhang right here because you want that to hold in your foam. Now on your hinge, a lot of people will put a hinge on and call it that. What I did is I drilled out my hinge. So see, this hinge has give. See that? So when you put a clamp on it, it moves. That way, you put your Kydex in, the hinge holds the back of it. You don't have to worry about going. But you can also clamp the back to get more definition. If I was just to put a clamp on front, the back could spread open and you wouldn't get as good as definition as if you put 4 clamps and clamp it all down. And then this I bought from Knife Kits. I would suggest buying their Kydex foam. I think this is the medium, but I'm not sure. It's been so long since I bought some. So you want the Kydex foam. It's just better. See, I learned this from my friend that got me into knife making, and that's what he used to do. He used to buy knives and then remake Kydex sheaths. So I let him do all the experimentation and let him, make all the mistakes and then figured out what I like best. But he's done a few things like that for me too, so that's how things go. One person tests some things out and that's what works. But this might not work out for you. You have to experiment. I'm just giving you ideas to help with definition, because when it comes to Kydex, you want that click. And that's how you get the definition. Clamp the back, clamp the front. Now I had this piece that I cut, I think, for this knife, and it was too small. I'm going to try it with this small knife. I might have to cut another piece. But that's one thing good about Kydex. You heat it up a little bit, it'll go right back into form. So let me plug this oven in, get my gloves. This is the other part. You get heat gloves, that way you can hold the Kydex down to get even heat across the whole thing. But one thing I like to do, and I have these pieces, is put a piece right in here. That way when you form the Kydex, it doesn't form behind this, and you don't have to worry about that. So you have this in here. And I keep this in a little place, I got a few of them. So they go right in, I don't have to worry about it. I use 3 layers of tape. I've tried 2, and you get more scratches. Now the thing about Kydex, you could probably put 10 pieces of tape, and for some reason it still scratches. Kydex is notorious for scratches. It doesn't matter how many precautions you take, it's just going to happen. Now I know this sounds silly, but when you're cutting tape, I'm not trying to treat you like a kindergarten, but I've made this mistake. Start from the middle and cut out, because you'll cut like that and you'll fold the whole tape up, it'll get all caught in the knife. So it's best to pull from the middle and pull out. See, if I was to start here, it would get all like that, it would get all crumpled up. So don't start on the edge. Ooh, I can feel that stove getting hot already. Now, I almost made a mistake I've made 100 times. If you're using removable scales, put the screws in. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten to do that. The screws a lot of times with removable scales are what holds in, can be another point of retention. Check out this little tool I found. It's a ratchet. I see a lot of guys buy those Allen key, the whole set of Allen keys or a whole set of Torx. This, boom, you just put it right in there. You can put whatever adapter, go one way and ratchet it. Yeah, man, so nice. All right. Yeah, we're at 270, so we want to put our middle piece in and have it right there. When you pull the Kydex out, it doesn't get caught on there. Believe me, you don't think it's much, but when you forget it and you have to sit there and grind out that, and when you have the Kydex formed around that, you have to grind a little bit, check it, grind it a little bit, check it, because you don't want to go too far back and expose the steel. So I like to take it, crease my finger in there, boom, and then that holds that little piece in right there. Take your thumb, crease it in there, boom. Alright, now look at that tight fit we'll have. Nice definition. We got this held in place. Now let me do the other ones. So I got 2 pieces on this one, huh? That's my major problem, is forgetting my count. Do I have 2 on this and 3 on this, or 1 and back and forth? So let me put 2 on this. I'll be back when it's done. We got our 3 layers, we got our piece in, we got our screws in. So I know what you're saying. Oh, with the cutting stuff and all these little details. Oh man, well that's obvious. Of course I would do that. But you know how many times I've forgotten to do the obvious things? Or maybe you forgot, or maybe you didn't know. Everyone's starting at a different point. If you're saying, oh, well, that's rudimentary, of course I would do it that way. Well, hey, maybe someone else wouldn't. That's why I kind of try to explain things as simple and as detailed as possible, because one of the reasons I started doing video, rant time, is because I would be watching a lot of people's videos and they would be like, they'd show you how to do something, but they wouldn't explain it. And it's like, well, man, you show this and you show that, but I don't know the steps to get from here to there. So that's why I started doing these videos. If it helps someone, then, because I remember how it was to be there and be like, oh man, if I just had someone explain it a little bit more, I would save hours trying to figure it out myself. Alright, rant over. Let's see what our temperature is. 312, 317, 330. I'm going to crank this up just a little bit. 340. Right here in the corner, it's 370. Now it's going down, going up. 350, 325. Can you see that? 345, 330, 382, 367. Oh, my clamps. They're all over the floor. See, I always forget one thing. Now if you can get by with 2 clamps, great. And I always like to size them, you know, so I can just slide them right on and I don't have to worry about adjusting them and all that crap or pull. You know, usually they're like this and you're like, oh man. So I always open them up enough where I know I can get them on. You know what they say, perfection's in the details. I hope this piece is big enough. If not, I got some to cut more, but put your knife in. And I like to use 4 of them. See, that's why I have these on the side so we can slip the things right under. Bam, click, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I had one guy talk to me on one of my forums. He said he likes to put the blade part where it opens so he can just slide it out like that. But hey, to each their own. I like to have the back of the knife to the fold. I should do more 2-piece Kydex, but I don't know. I love taco Kydex, so where are we at? Have I ranted enough to get this up to heat? 333. Looks like we got to crank it just a little bit more. Alright, 340. So let's see that. I like to put the shiny side down. I don't flip it over. I keep it down one side and now hold the corners. See, this is why I like the skillet more than I like the oven, because I can actually hold it and let it get even heat. Because sometimes in the oven, the toaster oven, your corners will start overheating and folding up and melting, and your middle isn't good enough and starting to get a little bit pliable. There we go. See, in this way, I can reuse pieces because I can hold it down and get all these folds out. Where's our temps at? Woo, 400. We're not too much. Overload, overload. Yeah, 400. See how pliable that is now? So you can see the corners right here starting to liquefy. If we were in a toaster oven, we couldn't pick them up. But see, we're all flat now again. All right, I think we're ready. This is my back. Is this big enough? Oh. Oh, it might not be big enough. Oh, we might just make it. It's going to be tight. So you want to hold it all down. Make sure you don't fold it when this comes down. Make sure it all folds straight. See, the back isn't going to give. But now we can press it down. See how much more we got there? Look at all that we just put in. Which tightens this up. Go around once more. Unplug your oven. Squeeze it for all it's got. Look at that. We got a good 3/16 over here more than we would have with the hinges. See that? Look how much more we got than the hinge. Alright, so hopefully that's enough. Now we let it sit and we start taping up our other knife and all that stuff. I gotta go edit. Today's Saturday and I'm gonna edit the rest of the video for the AC/DC where I sharpen these knives and all that stuff. And then I'll get back to the rest of the Kydex probably Monday as I'm punching this. Alright, the next part, I'll have the 2 sheaths. Hopefully I won't have to remake this one. We seem like we're just at a point where it's pretty good. 10-15 minutes before you open it. It needs to cool down. So I'll be back when the other one's done. It's actually probably going to be Monday till I get to this, because I got the live stream tomorrow. I'm in a rambling mood tonight, huh? See you in a few minutes. Well, it'll be a second for you. It might be days for me. I got a different lens on here because I took all my camera gear upstairs and packed it all away, and I was like, wait a minute. People are going to want to see me take this out, so... anyway. Let's see if this is enough or not. Ooh, it's close. I think we got it though. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to stand back. I got a 24. I use 11 to 16 millimeter. I got my 24 millimeter, so I'm standing back. But back here, see, this is fine because we're cutting all this out. I like to leave, you know, at least 2 inches above where the blade stops, because you never know how far you're going to come up and curve it around and all that. But it looks like we got plenty of room for eyelets, so this one's good. Boom. Look at that definition. See? Nice and tight. We'll get that big old snap out of there. See how if I would have left these out, it would have put a hole in there instead of a protrusion? This right there is a point of retention, especially when you don't have a bunch of curves and stuff, so that'll be nice. Alright, I'm going to do the other one, and I'll see you back whenever I get to it. Alright, so first we got to do is get these laid out. I like to use these silver markers. It's just easy to show up and use some acetone or something to wipe it off. Some Goo Gone and help it come right off. But what we got to do first, I kind of know the size of my deals, but if you don't, this is like the first time you're doing Kydex, what I would suggest is get one of your eyelets and put it in your first place. So that way you know, here let me show you. That way you know where it's going to be, because that's one thing you don't want to do is have the blade, or you don't want to have the eyelet too close. Now here we probably won't take much off, but that way you at least know. So I can give you a, you know, if you want to start like that, you can see where the blade comes out. So, you know, I want to set it just a little bit out from the blade and then draw your line. Then if you want to, you can move it up. Draw your line. Kind of move it up. Now this way you know that wherever you make it, and you still want to make it big, because remember, you're going to have to grind all this down. So, bring it up, and then you can bring it up to where you want it here. And with taco ones, I like to bring them out like that, so you have your hole right here. So I'll put my hole right in the middle there. Sometimes you can put like one back here if you want. I don't think this one's going to need it because it's so small. So we'll probably be good there. What I like to do, you know, we can take the knife out. I like to draw how it's going to be. You can see here's our retention point, so we want to come at least back here. And then you can see here's where that piece is, you know, where that piece was in here. So you want to put it a little bit back, give yourself some room. And then you can come straight down however you want. You know, I like to kind of fish them around like this, just to give them a look. And then boom. So there's your cut. So let me do that to this one, and then we'll cut them both out on the bandsaw. Now, on this one, see how big this one is compared to how small that one is? So I'm actually going to put an eyelet on the back. Now, you don't have to, or, you know, you can or not, but it'll give you a lot more retention if you do. But this one's kind of small, doesn't need it. Alright, let me mark the rest of them out, we'll get them cut. So there's that. Now, to make it, these will probably be our grind 2 lines. We're going to want to cut it and drill it. So just to be careful, make sure you cut a little bit outside. I'd even give it like a 1/16 outside. Doesn't matter, you know, you can grind these down on the grinder. So, and because we have that rock pattern, the retention's going to be pretty good. So we might have to work on this a little bit. Alright, to the bandsaw. Like I said, we'll cut on the outside. Now you got to be careful when you're over here, because how it doubles up and opens up. You'll kind of want to jerk it out of your hand. And I wouldn't worry too much about the shape. In fact, when I'm over here, I like to keep it outside the line big time. Where in here, I'll just kind of go outside the line by like a 16th, but I'll show you. Here we go. That's another reason you want to give space, because of the awkward shape of this. You're going to be cutting at an angle. You're not going to be cutting straight. And if you try to cut straight, it's going to wiggle it out of your hand. It can, you know, you just want to be careful around bandsaws. You know, it's a lot easier to ground this little bit off than have your hand be pulled into a bandsaw. All right, so there's one shape. So I don't know if that came up, but right when I stuck it in, it started bucking. Yeah, you gotta be careful of that. Alright, over to the drill press, let's get these drilled out. See, if you didn't put that piece in, this part right here would be closed. But since it's not, see how it's opened up? You kind of have to go in here with the small wheel, and if you don't have a small wheel attachment, I've said this before, there's little drums that you can put on a drill press, or even if you only have a hand drill, they're like 20 bucks for a set. I think I show this every time I do Kydex. But anytime you see me using small wheel attachments and you say, oh, I don't have small wheel attachments, this is how I started myself. You can just put these in a drill press, or put your hand drill in a vise sticking up and have these in. You know, there's many ways to come around not having a small wheel attachment. All right, let's get to the drill press. All right, here we go. Like always, if you watched any of my other drilling stuff, I always use 1, 2, 3 blocks, or basically any of my videos. Love me some 1, 2, 3 blocks. Now, a lot of times I'll use this last corner because it's hard to get in and make it flex. You know, this one seems to be all right. Especially these backwards, they can be a problem sometimes. Which actually, I think I'm going to move this back one in a little bit. Well, no, that seems right. Okay, here we go. So you can see I did move this one back a little bit. This one, remember, I marked twice, so, but all the other ones pretty much fell. So boom. You want to try to make sure they all stay lined up. You know, you don't want one up, one down, one up, one down. Man, believe me, I've had that happen before, and it's like, man, I got to make this thing all over again. Alright, see, this one's almost a little bit high, but we should be alright. It's just a little bit high. I just jinxed myself. We'll see how it looks. Let me see something. Oh man, I got the wrong drill bit in here. This was the... Oh. See, you always got to double check yourself. Well, that mess up might have worked out in my favor. I brought this one down and these two up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. Man, I'm glad I messed up. Now they're nice and straight. Whew. So, but that's what I was just saying. Pay attention to how you're... Because see, I started here, and then I switched to here and came down, and these were out of sync. But now I put them back in line, so we got lucky. All right, boom. There we go. Back to the bench. So I'm basically, for this, I'm just going to do a time lapse. because all we're doing is just shaping this. I think this is an 80, then I'll go to 240. And then I've got the video that I did a couple weeks ago that I'll put up in the cards, and that'll show you how to finish it, put in the eyelets and all that. Because I've been editing this as I go. You can tell I've been wearing 3 different shirts through the whole video, so I'm just going to do a time lapse of shaping this up, getting all nice and shaped, put a 240 belt on, do them both, and then I'll come back when we get to the small wheel attachment, because that's the important part. Time lapse time. So there we are, we just shaped around. I think I got the 1 inch on here, so let's see how that works at first. If we need to make it smaller, we'll make it smaller. This is the rock pattern. This rock pattern is going to take a little bit more work than just the regular one that slides in. So we're going to want to pay attention. We're going to want to come right up under here, just enough so it goes in, but we're going to want to loosen this so we can get the knife in as we're going. See? So we can get it in and out. See how hard it is? That's why we want to take just a little bit off here, but we got to be careful. We don't want to take too much. These two are tight. Let's see how we got it. Now that's the hardest part, is keeping them even so they both wear down the same. Sometimes you have to kind of go back and forth to see which one needs to be tightened or loosened or whatever. So, all right, let's just get on with it. And as you go, these things are going to be heating up and peeling off. So sometimes if I can do it, I like to do one side and keep this side off, and then flip it over and kind of do it, because I'm left-handed, so my left is my dominant. So that way you can kind of go back and forth, and then every once in a while, check it to see the progress. And this is why you keep your tape on. See? Ugh. Now that's tight, it went in pretty good, but it still won't come off. We're going to be putting a thumb ramp up here too, so. Alright. Man, these little details, but it makes the whole difference. Tighten that back up. In, out. That's why we're going to put a thumb ramp right here, so you can push against it and pull it out. So I think that's about done. We just have to take it over, and like I said, I'll link the video up in here that shows you what to do after this. But this is basically done for this video. So let's get to the next one. So I like to take a flathead screwdriver, put some tape on it, and basically what we're going to do is we're just going to heat up the back here. Now you don't want to get it shiny. That's one thing with Kydex, like I showed you with the skillet and all that. And even if you're using a toaster oven, you don't want your Kydex to get shiny. That means too hot, and it's real easy to do back here. So what we're just going to do is we're going to heat it up with a heat gun. I'll put the link to this down in the link below. I got it on Amazon. It's worked great. I've had it for years, That way, when you're not dropping the soldering iron, you got the soldering kit. It comes with a bunch of tips, and it comes with a bunch of tips for the heat gun. And you can actually control your heat and your airflow. If you need one of these, then the channel gets kicked back and all that good stuff. Let's turn it on and get it going. Once you get it up a little bit, you're going to want to hold it there. And you might want to twist the screwdriver, if I can remember what it's called. And bam, you got your thumb ramp. Much easier. Bam. Yeah. Now that's why you want to keep the retention here tight, because when you do this, it will loosen this up a little bit. But look how much easier It's still got that nice click. And now, you know, you put your thumb against there, bam. Yeah, man. Sometimes it's good to get it pliable to get the screwdriver in. Keep twisting it too. You don't want it in one spot or you'll get shiny spots. You don't want shiny spots. Man. There we go. Ah, that's more like it. Boom. Boom. Yeah, man. If you want to see how I finish them off, it'll be up in that video. You know, basically, spoiler alert, we use these pads, or I use these pads, and then we put the eyelets and all that in. But that's in that video. We're probably already up to 30 minutes with this, so I'm going to cut it here. Alright, so that's about it. Like I say, if you want to know how to do it from here on out, there's the other video which will be up here, and I'll also put the link down in the description too. That way it'll be easy to find, but we're getting over the 30 minutes line. We might even be over after I finish editing this. I don't know. I know we're already about 24 minutes. I basically show you how to take them from here and make them to here. So this is finished. Boom. All good to go. Snap. And there's how it comes out in the end. Same idea. This video is getting way too long to put it all in there, so yeah, go watch that video and you'll know how to make Kydex sheaths for sure. So go ahead and leave down in the comments any ideas or different ways you do your Kydex to me, or steps you leave out or extra steps you put in. I just like it this way. It's tedious and there's a lot of extra steps, but man, that retention and definition pay off in the end. Remember, I got shirts like this and Amazon links with a few knives. Hopefully all these knives will be up on my website too. The link is up here or all down in the description. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. Like it if you like it. Dislike it if you don't. Let me know what's going on. If you got any ideas or any questions, I'll try my best to help. Hope you all are having a great day. Weekend's coming up, so having a great weekend. And as always, take it easy.